What's up, everybody? It's Fine. We're here. I'm about to give you guys an top speed tune. In the new year. Happy New Year for anybody that didn't see the other video. Happy New Year. And I'm just gonna get straight into the video, honestly. This is gonna be on the Supra RZ. I'm kind of done with the uh engine swap tunes for now, due to the fact that I'm having just bad luck in getting them out of the roulette tickets. So once I get another one that actually has a good top speed, I'll post that eventually. But for now, I'll be posting a few more cars of the regular cars that don't have any engine swap tunes. So I had a few, like, not 10, between 5 to 10 at least cars left. So with this one, it's the Super RZ 92 or 97. I almost said 92. It's a 267 tune with the current wind speed. When I show you guys a little bit later in the video, I do go about 266, but it will go 267 with the wind speed or not wind speed exactly, but the wind direction and ideal conditions. So for anybody that's wanting just a no wind tune, I guess you could say. I mean, this is with wind, so without wind, just take away 2 miles per hour. So it's a 265 tune, which is still really good for the Supra. I remember the Supra was, I think, a little bit faster, I think, in GT Sport. If not, it went 260. I can't remember exactly. It was like 260 or 270 in the Sport. So they didn't really do a whole lot to it. They either slightly nerfed it or greatly buffed it. I honestly can't remember because it's been a long time, but yeah. Going straight into the suspension, it's pretty much an old, I don't want to say old suspension exactly, but it's pretty much one of the very first cars I tuned, so it's going to look a lot like the older tunes I started doing on GT7. So with the ride height, you want the ride height down to 90, both front and rear. Inter-roll bars, you don't have to worry about the inter-roll bars because with it being a 97 and not like a 90, anything like, I think anything older than 1999 would normally have an issue, but I think it's 1995 now, if not 1994, is where it starts to like sway, like the suspension's a little bit too soft, so you have to add anti-roll bar levels. Going over to the compression, it's gonna be 40 front and rear. Expansion is gonna be 30 front and rear. The front natural frequency or the spring rate is going to be up to 3.30, which is completely max. The only reason why is because with a lot of the older cars, this is still an issue that the front end will lift up. I know there's a couple newer cars that will do the same thing, which is odd in my mind, but this is one of the I'm trying to think of it, but this is pretty much one of the many cars that are the older cars, like you can get, they can only get through the used car dealership, that will have this issue. There's very few cars that don't have this issue, but you want the natural frequency on the front all the way up and all the way down the rear, so that way your nose doesn't lift up when you're going over the hill, because if you do, it's pretty much going to stay up throughout most of the race. If not, it's going to be up all the way towards the turn, and then it'll go down, which will cause your car to probably lose a little bit, like, mobility, and it'll either go straight into the wall or it'll just spin out. And I have 3.0 on the camber, just in case if it needed it in the turn, which it doesn't. I don't think it does, but if you guys don't want the camber, you guys take it off. It's up to you guys. But I have a 3.0 just to be safe, because right now it handles pretty good in the turn, and no toe angle whatsoever. Going over to the top speed, from what I remember, because I said it's been a long time since I've done this tune, and this is before they actually fixed the transmission. The top speed, I believe, is completely stock. I may be wrong on that, but I'm pretty confident it's pretty stock. So if you guys were to reset the transmission to a fully customizable racing back to stock, and then back to the fully customizable, it should be at 300. If it isn't, readjust it to the 300 where I have it at. And then I do remember taking the final and just stretching it. I don't remember ever messing with any of the gears, because you're gonna be running in 6th gear, so you're gonna be able to go to 265 to 267 depending on if you have wind or not, and you'll have plenty of room to draft and use NOS. I don't think you'll have any issue. If you guys are having any issues at all, though, just adjust 6th gear a little bit. I won't adjust it too much because you'll most likely drop in top speed like by like a couple miles per hour. If you go up to like 540, I would say 540 would probably be the most I would say to put it up to. If you guys are having problems with top speed with NOS and NOS or NOS with draft, so if you guys are having issues, as I said before, just crank that up to at least 540 on the 6th gear. Don't even try to mess with any of the other gears unless you guys want to mess with them to get a little bit faster, 0 to 60 and all that stuff. But I really don't worry about that most of the time. But with the final, you want to make sure it's at 2.325 before you mess with any of the gears. If you guys are having any issues matching my numbers, just mess with the final until you get at least 520, or get to the final where it's at and then mess with the gearing to where it goes 520. Don't try to match the leftmost number, because that will never always be the same. If you try to match my leftmost number, it's a lot easier just to do the rightmost number, which is the top end of the gear for top speed wise. And hopefully you guys had plenty of time to write this all down, do whatever you guys need to do. I have to the track to show you guys pretty much how it runs. It's a pretty quick car, like usual. It's I remember in GT Sport, I think it was a little bit sluggish. I think in the mid 200 range. I think like around 200 to 230, it kind of slowed down. I think, but once you got into, I think it was 5th gear. I don't think I remember running 6th gear on Sport, but once you got to the gear that you were running, you would actually catch up with everyone else, because it would just constantly climb up until about 5 to 10 miles per hour before the top speed of the actual car, which is pretty much what this does. So they kind of made it where the acceleration is quite fluid throughout the entire gear going up into your top speed. This is the best I can get right now. I highly doubt that there's going to be any way, shape, or form of me be able to get any faster out of it. I mean, you guys can try it. For sure, you probably get it up to 270 probably. I mean, I'm not sure, but with the rear diffuser, if you want to have the rear diffuser on and sport softs on the front, this is the best like handling you can get out of it and the best acceleration, and it'll keep you from fishtailing in the turn, because it most likely will if you put the rear, not the rear, but the front suspension to more soft, so that way you can possibly get the front end to be more down. But if you do that, it could lift up the back end, and it'll most likely cause your car to spin on mainly on the turns. But if someone accidentally taps you in the rear bumper on the right or left side, then you'll just spin out and you'll be pretty much out of the race. Because most cars don't really have that issue. If it gets bumped a little bit, but not a whole lot. But as you guys see here, I'm just going up to the top just to show you going from top to bottom. It goes pretty well. I would be careful because it still has a decent amount of grip, so it will wipe out if you go down too fast in the turn. So I would highly advise not to like make too much big adjustments in the turn. Just do little minor ones. And yeah, I think that's about it, honestly, because you guys will see here, look at the 266, but as I said earlier in the video, this is as fast as it'll go right now with the current wind conditions. So It'll hit 266 just barely because of mainly the wing direction, but it will hit right there at 266, but we'll hit 267 with either ideal wind conditions or he'll 265 without any wind. But yeah, well, this will be the end of the video. So if you guys like the video, hit the like button. Also subscribe for more videos. If you guys have any questions, post them down in the comments below. I'll answer them as soon as I can, and I'll answer as best I can too. And if you guys have any suggestions for other cars you guys will either want to see for top speed tunes, I'm also accepting any track tunes, I guess you say, any cars you guys want to see for track tunes. And if you guys want me to do a track tune for a specific car, please also put in the comments what track you want me to do, because I know a lot of tracks have different suspension tunes for the cars, because most of tuning at this point is mostly in the suspension, not exactly in the transmission. Like, I'll mainly just be doing the suspension, and then maybe do a couple, not laps, but just do a little bit of a test run on the track to show you guys how well it would handle on that track, like how I do on Route X, but except for not doing top speed, but for handling. And yeah, with that, I will see you guys in the next video.